with your Lowe's Advantage card. Subject to credit approval and can't be combined with any other credit offers. Exclusions apply. See store for details. And I'm Source 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Orr on Nooga Radio AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Wow! I feel good.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is Thomas DeMoss, and this is the Reality Real Estate Show. We've got a great show. We're going to continue our conversation with Ethan Collier from Collier Construction. His website, if you guys want to check it out, is Collier Build. I was impressed with the website. There's a ton of great pictures on there of y'all's projects. So, my insurance guys called me. Yeah, it's crazy when you do Facebook Live. I think real estate people always do stuff by the seat of their pants. Yeah. It's, I don't know anything that you can plan. Obviously, you can grow a business, but most real estate people that I know, it's like, okay, I'm going to wake up today and I'm going to take on whatever comes.
Yeah, there is a sense to which you're responding to what's out there.
It's a crazy business.
Yeah.
But now, okay, going back a little bit on your background, how long have you been in the construction business, the home building business?
20 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're 30 now, so you
39, 39. No, I'll turn 40 this year. I very, very much feel 40. I'm starting to look 40. I look in the mirror in the mornings and I'm like, yeah, I'm 40.
Well,
it's pretty clear.
Yeah, your kids are the ones who age you the most.
Oh, yeah.
Because as they grow, you're like, God, how do they get so big?
Yes, for sure.
But no, we had a great conversation. We were talking about some of the things that Ethan's company integrates into their houses. Let's talk kind of the macro level of Chattanooga, if we can. I, for one, I mentioned I started out my background as a real estate investor. So we moved to Chattanooga about 12 or 13 years ago. Started buying some rental properties. I was looking at the prices that we were paying for houses, and now I kick myself that I didn't buy 100 of them. And every house that I've had an opportunity to buy, I look at what it sells for now, and I'm like, I should have bought that house.
Right.
But we have had an incredible just growth as far as the Chattanooga community. You mentioned before you guys kind of took a gamble on your project at 100 at South Broad, but you saw some things that are coming there. Where do you think Chattanooga's going? You're obviously, you're very, I would say you have a positive attitude for what Chattanooga's doing.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Where are you guys at as far as what your outlook is for the city? Maybe some things you guys are looking forward to doing in a couple of years.
Yeah, we do have 100 South Broad, and that's very urban.
Yeah.
And while I do believe very firmly that people want to be connected to a larger community, the outdoors, each other, that this connection that we desire is important. It doesn't mean that everybody wants to live downtown.
Absolutely.
There's some drawbacks to living downtown. My wife and I live downtown. We live in Hill City. We have no yard. We have a great house. I built it. It's on a great street with several other great neighbors. And so we do have this sense of community. And, but, we don't have room for a trampoline.
Right.
And we couldn't put a pool in if we wanted to. We don't have enough yard to put a pool. And there's a limit to how many cars we could have. And
we're fighting that too with 3 kids.
But when we want to go to a Lookouts game, we Uber to the Lookouts game for $6 instead of driving over there. And then we walk home. So, and we walk to Publix and get groceries.
Absolutely.
And my son can do the same thing. So, but that doesn't mean everybody wants to live downtown. And we recognize that. So we are now developing a new subdivision on Signal Mountain.
Okay.
We know that the market up there is still very strong.
Yes, it is.
And, there's a great community already established up there. In that scenario, we're not building a community. We're responding to a community that already exists. Okay. But we'll have a new neighborhood that we're breaking ground on just here in the next several weeks, and that's 30 some odd houses there. We've got a new one that we're working on that's off of Hicks and Pike, and it will be somewhat like 100 at South Broad.
Where's your Hicks and Pike? Okay, is that a secret?
No, it's not. It's somewhat controversial because of its history, but it's right off the S curves.
Okay.
So if you go around the S curves, there's been a sign up.
Yeah.
We're now doing that development. There had been a previous developer who had passed away that had developed a plan for that, and I didn't think the plan was very good. The community around it didn't think it was very good. We've made some significant changes to that plan, reduced the number of homes that are going in that development by 30%.
Oh, wow.
We've made some really big changes, and I think we've made some great improvements, but we'll be breaking ground on that here soon. So, there are our first tier suburbs, in my mind, are where we will be, and I think it's a great space to be. The suburbs offer a lot to families that the downtown doesn't, and it is more difficult to raise especially a larger family in our downtown. And our first tier suburbs can do that. So I think you'll continue to see a lot of money being invested into those, and so I mean that's just kind of big picture where we're at. One
of the things that always I catch myself is going back to that. My historical reference is always in a rearview mirror. I'm always looking back and seeing where prices were. I had an interesting, I guess, perspective shift. I talked to some guys out in Austin, some folks in Nashville. They're looking at our market kind of as a forward-going market, saying, "Hey, you have no idea where this thing's going."
That's exactly right.
We can attest to where you guys are going.
Based on what they've seen.
They've seen. Yeah. So when I had that, I was like, that's interesting because I'm looking at the price appreciation that we've seen and thinking from an investor standpoint, man, there's no deals out there. Everything is super appreciated. But as long as the economic factors that we all kind of count on, job growth, employment, just basically the marketability of Chattanooga and the wonderful outdoor things that it offers. We talked about kind of some things that the city's doing. I mean, I think they've done a really good job with attracting young talent. The technology sector is really growing here, which brings in some higher paying jobs. I think Chattanooga is on track for a lot of good things. But there are some negatives to that. And we talked before about affordable housing. We had some folks on here from CNE last time, and we talked about that challenge that they're trying to combat. So where do you guys, I mean, when you're looking at a project to develop, kind of going all over the place, what do you look for? I mean, is there something, is it, I know you've been doing this for a long time. Is it more of a gut feel? Are there metrics that you're looking for that you really want to see before you pull the trigger on a project?
There are.
Okay.
I go very much off my gut.
Sure.
I mean, you're probably a lot like me. I mean, but fortunately, I have surrounded myself with people who are way smarter than I am. And they do, study every little detail of marketability. It is most often the case for developers to look back. I think that's one of our most limiting factors. If we base what we are going to build and develop today solely on the rearview mirror, like you said. If we had done that, we wouldn't develop 100 at South. Because if we had said, the most that we can build and sell a house for here based on comps, it would have been $100 or $110 a square foot. Well, you can't build and develop a new product for that price. I mean, it would not have looked to be possible. We had to believe something that had yet to be proven, and that is that the market would bear $180 a square foot for homes on South Broad. It had not. There was no fact there to support that. We just had to believe that if we build it, they'll come and they'll buy it and they'll pay for it. Now, that's not just based on I feel it. We also have seen that pattern. So, when we started out on the south side with, the stuff off of Main Street, we saw that happen. We saw that happen in Hill City. We've seen that happen in North Chattanooga. We've seen that happen in St. Elmo. So, and like you said, anybody who's coming here from Nashville or Austin or
Right.
Even Atlanta can attest to the fact that, you have to be able to look at things that way. And we certainly do. But we also have begun to see that people are willing to pay more for less built house.
Okay.
If it meets their needs better.
Okay.
So, in terms of cost per foot, that's a terrible way to value things. Like your shirt, I like a lot, but you would not value that shirt based on a cost per square inch. Right. I mean, you just walk into the store, and if that's a $45 shirt, it's like, okay, that's $45.
Exactly.
But can you imagine if you were like, well, that shirt over there is a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense. Even the way we buy cars, we don't do it on a cost per square foot basis.
Yeah.
So then when we build a higher quality product and it meets an emotional need that people have and a real need that they have, and it's smaller and it's a higher quality, it's going to cost more per square foot. We've seen people be able to kind of deal with that, and overcome that.
Okay.
And so we don't any longer see that as a limiting factor.
Okay.
So for example, we've got these 2,200 square foot houses at 100 at South Broad.
Mm-hmm.
So 2,200 square feet.
It's a good size house.
Yeah, it's decent. It has a rooftop deck. That rooftop deck costs $50,000. It's super, super expensive.
Okay,
right?
so I've just scratched that off of my project list.
but it has no additional square footage added to the house.
Yeah, right.
We see it over and over and over again at 100 at South Broad. People would rather have 2,200 square feet. And yes, that means the house costs more per square foot.
Yeah.
But they want that rooftop deck or they want that outside space.
Absolutely.
And, then they would, we've got a 2,600 square foot house that's less per square foot. So,
that makes sense.
We are no longer limited by that perspective of only looking back.
Right.
And we've set ourselves free from that.
Okay. It's interesting. It's interesting that we're having this conversation today because I was battling that with, having a conversation with my partner because we have essentially set the comps in some areas, which makes you extremely nervous that you're going to get the house appraised. We've actually got one over here in Hickson that we are renovating and will be the highest priced house in the market. Usually you want to follow somebody, but I guess somebody's got to set the trend. Yeah. So it is interesting. And what you talked about, adding value that does not equate to price per square foot. What I have seen is, and I know your company does this, but builders are maximizing the efficiency and utilization of house, right? Which is incredible because you don't have to build a massive house like that. You don't need 3,000 square feet because people are not going to use all 3,000 square feet. They're going to use certain areas of the house more than others. And an outdoor living space is what people want now. Right. And those are incredible. I mean, it's what we want. I mean, we live in a neighborhood, in a suburban neighborhood. And what do we want? We want an outdoor living space. So we can go hang out. We can lock the kids in the house and the wife and I can go outside and let them, have a free for all for whatever. It doesn't matter to us. So yeah, those are some excellent points. And it is, so I guess let me ask a question this way. As you build the product like that, was there a trend that you saw? Was it just engagement with your clients, talking to millennials about what they want? What kind of led you to the path to say, hey, we're going to build a house like this because this is what the market is telling us that they want? Well,
some of it is speculation. Okay. Some of it is, we think based on these conversations with this realtor or this potential buyer that somebody's going to buy this if we build it. There's a degree to which we speculate. Yeah. But we're a business. We got to mitigate that risk as much as possible. Right. So when we're moving the needle, we move it a little bit at a time. Okay. We don't go out there with, hey, I know that somebody's going to pay $50,000 more for this rooftop deck. We didn't build that as a home for sale. Yeah. What we did though was we built a, this also speaks to the architecture at 100 at South Broad and the neighborhoods we're in. We build something that is maybe pushing people a little bit outside their comfort zone. Okay. But they're liking and they're reacting very positively to. So it's a little bit different than what they've seen, but they like it, right? And then what we do is we also then offer, hey, but we can go further. We can, So it's almost as if here's what's available, and oh, by the way, you can have this. And so a lot of what we've been able to do is kind of figure out then what those options are, and then make them available to people and see what they react to. Let them react to it.
Okay.
I mean, we have to be able to respond to the market. I mean, we'd be fools if we said, "Hey, I know what buyers want."
Yeah.
I mean, really, buyers can be difficult. I mean, anybody who says, "I know what a buyer wants," I mean, maybe one buyer, but we got to have 50 to 60 buyers a year. So, a lot of it is how we structure that, and we allow then people to customize and respond to the different offerings that are available.
Okay. So essentially you kind of lay out a plan and then let people put their stamp on it, so to speak.
Right.
Which I think is interesting because, I mean, from what I'm hearing is millennials want something turnkey, but they want to be able to put their personal stamp on it with little impact to them.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, at 100 at South Broad, so we're going to tell people to go down and see it because they've never seen anything like it.
And you should go down and see it.
So 5 people that are listening today will actually get in the car and go down and see it. But for everybody else, so the houses are not very far apart. They look very different than anything else that's ever been built. One of the biggest struggles was, how do we handle color?
Okay.
How do we handle color? Because, if the house right here is blue and this one's red, then it starts to look like a Crayola box pretty quick.
Right. Or a Caribbean island.
Right. And it's not. So, what we did was we decided every house was going to be all white.
Okay.
It would have black windows, black gutters and downspouts, and black accents.
Okay.
And then we would allow customers to pick whatever color front door they wanted.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So now you would think, okay, there's no way every house is going to look identical.
Yeah.
But what's been interesting is how positively people have responded to that.
Yeah.
Because to some degree, there's a comfort level with, okay, I don't have to make this huge decision and screw this up. Pick out this color or make this big decision.
Yeah.
So to some degree, they're comfortable with it. And then also, I think there's a comfort level with the fact that, well, my neighbor isn't going to pick out something that's horrible.
Yeah.
So I've had our designer brought me a color one day that one of our customers had picked out. And she said, "Are you okay with this color? I mean, this is horrible." And I said, "It's the front door. It's like, it's very, very small. It's going to be fine." And we let them pick it. So you're right. I mean, a lot of the market wants for things to be pretty well handed to them in terms of design and styles and those sorts of things. But they want the ability to kind of call it theirs. And so, at 100 South Broad, every house looks different, even though it's the same color palette throughout.
Okay. So where do you see the trend going? I mean, you guys, you're talking about kind of pushing the envelope incrementally.
Yep.
Where do you see this trend going? Is there a massive change? Do you think we'll ever have the flight back to the suburban communities?
Well, we do still, as big and urbanist as I am, and I live downtown, we develop downtown. More people are moving to the suburbs every day than downtown Chattanooga, and that trend I don't see shifting dramatically soon. Now, people are moving back into our downtowns, but it's not this huge number of people. I mean, if you looked at the number of people moving into Appleton every day versus the number of people moving into downtown Chattanooga, it's a pretty significant difference.
Right.
What I do see happening, and we already have begun to see this, is that the form that the suburbs develop in will change.
Okay.
So when developers went to the suburbs and they began to develop these farms and these hillsides, they used a form and a style that failed to meet people's needs. Whether it was from a density perspective or a connectivity perspective and an architecture perspective. I mean, so many different ways it ultimately failed to meet their needs. I think what we're going to see more and more of is a urban form of development in our suburbs. Then we will see a huge flight back into our downtown, because downtown real estate's very, very expensive.
Yeah.
It's very expensive to develop, and that's not going to change. And so the suburbs are always going to be more affordable than our downtown.
Okay.
But people are saying, hey, whoa. I want my neighborhood to look like that.
Right.
But I want to live out here.
Okay. And
because I can't afford that.
Yeah.
And so I think, there are examples of that all over Nashville.
Yeah.
There are a few very small examples of that here in Chattanooga.
In the Ottawa area, I think they've started to develop some of those.
Cambridge Square, for example, has
a
very urban feel. It looks and feels a lot like 100 at South Broad in terms of its form, how the houses sit on the street, how tall they are, how close they are together, all of those sorts of things. Okay. And there it is, 40 minutes, 30 minutes from town, depending on the traffic. Yeah. So I think that's the trend that you're going to see.
Okay. No, that's interesting. We lived in Gainesville, Florida for a time, and they actually had a mixed use community just outside of Gainesville, very close to the city, but it had everything that you needed. It had your restaurants, your gas station, but the houses were more kind of the urban type houses. It was an interesting concept, and it went very well. So man, we talked about a lot of things. I hope I'm not putting you on the spot, but I want to get your,
I'll tell you.
I want to get your opinion here, because what we've talked about is the growth of the urban areas in Chattanooga. And one of the places that is, I would love to see develop is that Glass Farm District. I don't know if you've been down there lately. We actually visited there a couple of years ago. The network is there with basically just the sidewalks and the way the houses are built. I think it has all the potential in the world. Some of the folks at the Glass House Collective that helped start some of the South Side area are over there. What would it take to help, because you're going to run out of land.
That's right.
And most developers, that's their problem, is they need to, we're going to have a lot of infill. Everything's going to get built up. We're going to have to find new places to build. So what do you think, and maybe I hope this is a fair question, what could you see the city or other developers do to help maybe push things that way? We talked about speculation. Somebody's got to start the trend somewhere.
Yeah. We've been asked before, because of 100 at South Broad and because of the fact that it was, an area where nobody had ever done anything. We've been asked by a lot of people, hey, come here and do that. And, I'll say yes or no. No, we can't because of this. I think that, it's an interesting, because there has to be a tipping point where people feel like, okay, now it's safe enough. Now it's comfortable enough.
Okay.
A few things that made 100 at South Broad possible need to happen in those areas.
Okay.
And, the Riverwalk was one of them.
Yeah.
And, the potential for the Wheeling site was one of them. Something as simple as Calvary Chapel making a significant investment on that corner was one of those things. So, you have to begin to see some of those sorts of things for a developer to be able to go in and take that kind of risk. It's more than just street trees and sidewalk and, the available land.
So it's interesting. I mean, you pointed to some interesting things. It's definitely, it's a governmental collaboration with the community that's already there.
That's right.
And I do think churches play a huge impact on that. I mean, you've seen the church that is in Highland Park play a large impact on how that community has developed. So, man, we're running out of time. I could go so many different places. Let me just give a big plug to Ethan Collier, who's been my guest today. If you guys want to connect with him, go to their website, collierbuild.com. Go check out their new project. Get out and see what this city has to offer. It's 100 at South Broad. It's as you head towards St. Elmo, a lot of impressive stuff going on. Once again, this is the Reality Real Estate Show. My name is Thomas DeMoss. We thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next week.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Sell your house now. Let iBuyChattanoogaHouses.com ditch your albatross. Get rid of it. Get a move on. Get it off your back. iBuyChattanoogaHouses.com. You pick the closing date, 834-7321. Top dollar. iBuyChattanoogaHouses.com.
blowing everything up. We're starting over. I'm doing a new show. I want guys who push it to the middle of the table and go over the top. Take a risk, fail miserably. I'm right, and I'm not wrong, and I'll never back down. Conflict works. Allow it.
It's The Herd with Colin Cowherd, right here and everywhere. Noon Eastern. The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio. AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
It is Eric Jones hard into the outside wall, and they are still 3 and 4 wide. It looks like we're racing at Talladega.
Caution flag is out. It looked like Denny Hamlin was trying to get by Ricky Stenhouse. Got into the back of Ricky at the line. Man, that's a close one. Matt Kenseth wins stage 1.
Green checkered flag is out, and Brad Keselowski has won stage 2.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. into the wall. That will bring out the caution. Caution waving once again. And again, it's Dale Earnhardt Jr. involved.
Oh, trouble. Ty Dillon has gotten turned to the inside of the racetrack, and Clint Boyer has just nailed him.
Matt Kenseth falling back, the field storming by. Something wrong. Now we see sparks from Kenseth's Toyota.
Larson chucks him off. Coming off turn number 2. Nose to tail. Now it's Logano to the high side in 3.
Joey Logano, a winner here at the Richmond International Raceway.
Here at Live on Chattanooga's official NASCAR radio station.
Nooga Radio. AM 1240, 92.7 FM.
The voice of NASCAR.
Now it's going up. Now. That's not a call to action. No, just tell me something. Just let me give you my
WBLZ HD4 Ottawa, W224AZ Chattanooga, WSDT Saudi Daisy Chattanooga. Yesterday on The Herd.
Okay. Now, come on now. Read between the sparring partners. 2 days after Conor McGregor gets ripped, Floyd Mayweather comes out. I am incredibly vulnerable. On paper, he should win the fight.
A new day in The Herd.
Ladies and gentlemen.
You guys can laugh at me all you want.
This is The Herd. With Colin Cowherd.
I'm setting the tone.
This show on radio.
Broadcasting live from Los Angeles. The Herd with Colin Cowherd starts now.
This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, live in Los Angeles. iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. What a show today. Christine Leahy is joining me as always. Well, good morning. There are times when you got to change things up. And the question is always, things aren't going your way in life.
So right now, what you're doing,
you want to change things up. What do you change? And so this fight between Conor McGregor and Mayweather, according to a story this morning, Christine, the Boxing Commission is going to hear requests from Floyd and Conor to fight in 8-ounce gloves. They're going to change the gloves.
Hear that you're on the radio.
Going to make them smaller.
Facebook, whatever. Through the radio, they know you're.
Why don't you change the ticket prices?
Second portion, that's the one you punch.
Because what this is telling you, nobody's buying the fight.
So
nobody's buying the fight. If the tickets are $3,500, that's for the low price seats. Both camps, for the record, both have requested smaller gloves. So let me get this straight. Floyd Mayweather, his entire career, has been a my way or the highway guy. He won't budge for anybody. He wouldn't fight Pacquiao for years and unless he took a blood test. He thought he was on something. So he wouldn't budge.
This is what I envisioned for years.
That much for years. Now, in the course of 3 days, Floyd Mayweather is saying, I'm old and beatable. I'm going to change my entire style and now go right to the middle of the ring and fight him. And now, for the first time in my career, I'm going to go to smaller gloves. Folks, you have spoken. You're not buying tickets. And these guys both know that Triple G, you know that fight coming up September 16th? Triple G fight, Canelo fight, September 16th, same venue. It's already sold out. That fight's already sold out. And Mayweather knows it. And he's feeling pressure because he's getting a cut of this. And he's his own promoter. And he didn't have time to promote. He thought his name would promote. But we're tired of his boring fights.
With the right deal,
that's why he's been so effusive of his praise of Dana White, because he needs Dana White to sell the tickets because he's training and doesn't have time. And his name doesn't carry the weight anymore. I've been saying from the very beginning, McGregor's selling this fight more than Mayweather. UFC's selling this fight more than boxing. The seats aren't selling. Pay-per-view sales are sluggish. And after that 4-day pop, remember when they did that tour? They went to Vegas and LA and Toronto and New York. Yes, that helped sales for a few days. And then the media started making fun and rolling their eyes and mocking this fight, and sales have stopped. Come on now, folks. Why in the world would Mayweather do this? His entire career, he wouldn't budge on anything. You had to play entirely by his rules. And now, let's just make the gloves small. Why? Because the perception is to the public, and I'd agree with this, but the perception is if the gloves are small, what was the first thing you thought? Oh, McGregor could now knock him out with one punch. These are UFC gloves. That's the perception to the public. The boxing promoters are hoping you will buy. That smaller gloves means McGregor now, big edge. Well, excuse me, did Mayweather get slower? It just means McGregor's going to have a bloodier nose because he's the one landing all the punches, Mayweather. The second thing I think will happen is Mayweather will now stay away. Mayweather with smaller gloves, and for the record, Mayweather has always used those big puffy gloves because we know that Mayweather has brittle hands. He's never had, strong hands per se, so he uses a bigger, puffier glove. Now he's going to go to a smaller glove. So he's got to cut him this fight. The fight ain't selling. And the Canelo fight's already sold out 3 weeks later at the same venue. I mean, come on. What's Mayweather going to do next? Allow a bear in the ring? Barbed wire for ropes? Everybody gets to throw at least one chair in the first 4 rounds? Rattlesnakes? At the corners? I mean, come on.
It really is.
You have spoken.
And we're not even looking for any other real estate.
And you're not buying it.
Other ones are one I dread are just.
And you know what?
You don't.
I was just talking about this a second ago.
Well, I try not to be.
The boxing guys, Mayweather guys, they know they need to make a change. They're changing the wrong thing. They're changing gloves. Change the ticket prices. Because what Mayweather is selling you right now is ridiculous. This is the most confident fighter, more than Ali. At least Ali could be self-deprecating. Here was Floyd 2 days ago, the most confident fighter of my life saying this.
I'm older. What does that mean? I'm not the same. I'm the same fighter I was 5 years ago. So now I'm paying a fighter like Andre Berto don't even supposed to go to distance with Floyd Mayweather.
Right. And that's not
Come on. He didn't believe that. And he also said, I'm going to change my entire style.
This can't be a defensive fight. Excuse me? I got to go down. I got to go down.
Are you saying that you're going to go to Conor McGregor?
I got to go.
You're not going to back up. You're going to go to him.
I have to go to him.
Why?
I do what I got to do.
Why? You didn't have to go to other fighters in order to beat them. Why do you feel the need to do that in this fight?
Because I owe the public for the Pacquiao fight. Since they wasn't pleased with the Pacquiao fight, they're going to be pleased with this fight right here.
I promise you that you're going to get phone calls. You might do that. Well, no, do that.
You want me to believe that?
But remember, too, the value.
All right. Now they're changing gloves. All right.
You're more of.
All right, let's shift gears.
Somebody would advertise like a transmission plus.
NFL season.
They're going to call you.
Preseason underway.
Right. And everybody has.
And the quarterback out of college, and I said I didn't think any of these quarterbacks, college or the pros this year, the rookies. I didn't feel any of them were A's. I said they're B's and C's, but I felt that the best was Deshaun Watson. I felt that Deshaun Watson, I'd seen him twice against Alabama. I'd seen him play 7-8 times total. My feeling was Deshaun Watson was the best. Most experience, most snaps. In big games, he always felt big.
You need to buy
so I watched Deshaun Watson last night, and here's what I know. And it's a really good thing for Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans.
And I wouldn't make it. See,
he doesn't look overwhelmed.
Yeah,
he's not afraid. He's not terrified. I said last week I went to a USC football practice, and I talked to a national director of scouting for a very good NFL team.
It's too long.
And he said the Sam Darnold quality at USC isn't about his size or his arm. It's not about his athletic ability. In fact, he said his arm's not really as good as Andrew Luck, whose arm's okay. He said Darnold has it. Toughness, courage, physical confidence. He said, and that's what makes him so darn attractive. Rose Bowl, 19 years old, fourth quarter. He was better than he was in the first quarter.
You already know that.
When you watched Jared Goff last year, he looked terrified. Dak Prescott looked confident. I still don't think Dak Prescott has a great arm. He's got okay feet. He's a decent athlete. His size is below what I want. Dak Prescott was the opposite of Jared Goff. Goff looked uncomfortable. Dak looked totally comfortable.
What's that phone number?
Some guys around beautiful women,
phone number where I can buy that house
others,
today? Your house? Yeah, that number.
Women notice. Trust me. And there's a very fine line between confidence and arrogance. Dak Prescott is confident. Johnny Manziel is arrogant.
I'll give it a shot.
But I watched Deshaun Watson last night, and I don't care about his arm, and I don't care about his feet. He looked confident. He was never overwhelmed. Even in failure and incompletions, it looked like his job. And that is a real thing. And it's the same thing I saw against Alabama. Even in the series he didn't play well, he was never shaken. And ask yourself this. Deshaun Watson's only 6'2.5", 215. That is smaller than you'd like for a quarterback. NFL scouts want the 6'4", 225 region. He's 6'2.5", 215. And Sam Darnold at USC, by the way, is 6'2.5" to 6'3", 220. The scouts I've talked to say wish he was a little taller. But if you ever notice with Sam Darnold at USC, and if you ever notice with Deshaun Watson, despite not being the ideal size, they never feel small. Aaron Rodgers only 6'2". He never feels small.
That creates credibility. Right. Out there.
Russell Wilson's 5'11.5".
That 11 and 12 o'clock hour
feels big. Johnny Manziel's 5'11.5", feels tiny.
Real estate.
That's physical confidence. I watched Deshaun Watson last night, and he is what I think at his best he could be in the NFL. A little bit of Dak, a little bit of Russell Wilson, a little Aaron Rodgers, although let's slow down a little.
And the ones that are on the air
wasn't overwhelmed, and that is a huge thing, and you can spot it immediately.
But I have a little
coming up next, LeBron James didn't even tweet. LeBron James replied to a tweet, and it was a firestorm. And Jim Mora on his quarterback Josh Rosen. His thoughts on Josh's thoughts.
This is the one. This is the latest.
Next. Can't believe how fast this year is going. It really is. It is moving. Football season. What is it, Christine? August?
All I want them to hear is we have your money.
Okay, so we're like 3 weeks.
Yes, it's moving fast.
This weekend, next weekend, Labor Day, we're there. Uber is a flexible way to earn cash before the summer's over. Okay, you want to go somewhere, camping trip with friends, want to go to that McGregor fight with Mayweather? The ultimate side hustle is Uber.
There's 2 words in here that
you get paid when you drive. You can turn your phone off, don't have to work. Every day, by the way, payday. Thanks to Uber's Instant Pay, you can cash out straight from the app 5 times a day. Make the most of your summer. Get your side hustle on.
And that's the word we use.
Sign up for Uber today. Uber.com/drive now. UBER.com/drive now. Certain restrictions apply. See site for details.
Hey, it's Ben Maller here. Did you know that the first radio broadcast of a Major League Baseball game happened almost 100 years ago? Here's something else that you might not know that actually is really helpful. TrueCar also helps people get used cars. That's right. TrueCar isn't just for buying new cars. With their certified dealer network and a nationwide inventory of nearly 1 million used cars, you'll enjoy real pricing on actual inventory and a simpler buying experience, whether you buy new or used. Here's something else you might not know. TrueCar users can see what others pay, so they know if they're getting a good deal before buying. They're also more likely to enjoy a faster buying experience by connecting with TrueCar certified dealers. It's how car buying was always meant to be. Get started now and start saving time. When you're ready to buy a new or used car, doesn't matter. Check out TrueCar today. Some features not available in all states.
Okay, here we go, people.
This is The Herd.
Where are you
That's
again?
why
With Colin Cowherd.
Suddenly, yesterday, Floyd Mayweather does a sit-down interview. I want you to listen to the first thing Floyd Mayweather said that I know.
I'm older. I'm not the same fighter I was 2 years ago. I'm not the same fighter I was 5 years ago. I lost a step.
Floyd Mayweather saying, I'm vulnerable and I lost a step is like Donald Trump saying, hey, I totally riffed on the economy. Even if it was true, he wouldn't say it. This interview, by the way, is not a coincidence. It happens just 2 days after a sparring partner of Conor McGregor called out Conor McGregor as a fraud. Damage control. Remember, the boxing community is very small. It is very tight. They're trying to save this sport since UFC was created.
This is The Herd.
That guy's a nerd.
With Colin Cowherd.
What? And the category and things that don't go together.
Football and rainforests.
Correct.
Ice cream and motor oil.
Correct.
Open government and closed doors.
Correct.
Your freedom of information under the First Amendment isn't a game. Open government works best when the people's business is truly conducted in the open. Find out more on your state's freedom of information laws and how that freedom is being threatened by visiting www.sunshineweek.org. There's a reason why the right to know is the First Amendment. www.sunshineweek.org. A public service of this station and the Radio Television News Directors Association.
All over America, people are taking the National Radon Test. Have you?
I never thought about it. I don't know.
I think it's a secret killer or a silent killer.
Poison gas that seeps into the house.
It's one of the tests we did with the inspector before buying the home.
Why worry about it?
Why worry? Take the National Radon Test. True or false? Radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer.
True. I'd say false.
No, it's true.
I thought of cigarettes and then pollution.
That's something new to me.
Radon can penetrate a concrete block.
False. False.
It's true.
I wouldn't know how they could protect you from that.
It's scary.
The Office of the Surgeon General recommends all homes be tested for radon.
False.
It's true.
So that's bad. We should get our house tested. We must rid our house of radon.
R-A-D-O-N.
Call 1-800-693-5343 or visit learnmore.kstate.edu. Sponsored by KDHE and the Kansas Radon Program at K-State. 1-800-693-5343.
If you're like most people, you've got a calendar to help you stay organized, or a day planner, or some PDA you're still figuring out how to use. And it helps keep track of the anniversaries and birthdays that our overworked brains can't remember. That way we know exactly when things will happen and how long we can put off making arrangements for them. But there are some things in life that we can't put on our calendar because we don't know when they'll happen, if at all. Like some sort of household emergency, or a disaster, or even a fire. But when it does, the time to prepare for it has already passed. So get together with your family today and prepare for the unexpected by establishing a family disaster plan with help from your local Red Cross. That way you'll all know exactly what to do in the event of an emergency, where to go, who to call, how to help each other. But do it today so you won't get caught by surprise tomorrow. When we come together, we become part of something bigger than us all. To find out how to make your family disaster plan, visit redcross.org. The American Red Cross. Together, we can save a life.
Hey, listen up.
Gotta hear it to believe it.
We're not into that vanilla, soft-ass sports talk.
Don't say no offense after you've offended me.
You want that crap?
No way.
Go elsewhere.
Get out of here.
You want badass sports talk?
Yes. Yeah, sir.
Then this is where it's at.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Your badass sports and entertainment. It lives right here.
Fans will find you.
This is Fox Sports Badass Radio.
Hi, it's The Herd. When shopping for car insurance, consider this. Geico has been saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. So if you're serious about savings, it's simple. Go to geico.com. After 75 years, they know how to save you money.
Now back to The Herd.
The Herd brought to you by JCPenney. Biggest sale of the season right now. Levi 502 regular fit jeans under 40. Get 25% off select styles of Nike t-shirts, short shoes, and backpacks. Get your money's worth, your penny's worth, JCPenney. Big sale right now. Biggest of the season. Christine Leahy joining me. It's The Herd. So Josh Rosen is the quarterback for UCLA. He's got a ton of talent. He's really, really good. He'll probably be the first, second, or third pick in the draft. My guess is he'll be second or third. This week he started talking and saying stuff about school and football don't work, and Josh has said things last year, and he's got political opinions, and he talked about raising the SAT, and some kids shouldn't be on campus, and got a lot of pushback. Everybody had their own opinion. Here's what his head coach Jim Moore had to say about Rosen's comments this week.
There's a thing called freedom of speech in the United States of America. And, you know, part of the learning process is sometimes saying things that come back to bite you a little bit. And that doesn't mean you can't have opinions, and that doesn't mean that you can't work behind the scenes to try to make things better for everybody.
Totally agree. I can be for you having strong opinions, and I can also be for GMs and coaches passing on you because they don't want a quarterback who's political. Josh Rosen, you think he's going to go to the NFL and not talk about CTE? Sorry, he will. Think he's not going to talk about Trump? Sorry, he will. Think he's not going to talk about labor negotiations? Sorry, Josh Rosen will. And I am for him saying that. Just like I support Colin Kaepernick taking a knee. I wouldn't do it, and I wouldn't say what Josh Rosen said. I am for my quarterback having strong opinions, and I'm for people passing on your employment because of your strong opinions. You can be right on your political belief. Most think Kaepernick, his cause is right. Most of his teammates agree with Kaepernick. I agree largely with what Rosen said, and I bet you most of his teammates agree with Josh Rosen. But in both cases, NFL GM, I take Darnold over Rosen, less politics, non-football stuff. And if I was an NFL GM, I'd pass on Kaepernick. He's too political and newsworthy as a backup. You're being a hypocrite. No, I'm being a libertarian. Let the market play out. Freedom of speech. Have strong opinions. And the same freedom to pass on employing you if I view you as divisive potentially. And by the way, we live now in a time where you say the wrong thing on Twitter about politics. It's a firestorm. It's a firestorm. And young people, they want to be strong-willed. They want to be defiant. They want to be independent. Tom Brady's a shill. He's towing the company line. I like Tom Brady. Russell Wilson's a shill. He's guarded company line. I like Russell Wilson. Said it before.
One more time.
I want my quarterback head down in the film room. Don't celebrate too much. Don't talk about politics. Play football. So I'd take Darnold over Rosen. And I wouldn't put Kaepernick on the team. I am for all you millennials being independent and outspoken and politically active. And I'm not a hypocrite. You are a hypocrite to believe you can have any opinion without repercussions. And never forget this. Kaepernick is seeking employment. And in 6 months, Rosen's going to go to the draft and seek the number one pick, i.e. employment. And people are going to pass. Some are because of this. Understand that when I am hiring, it is much easier to say pass than you're fired. That if Rosen says this while he's at UCLA, it may annoy his coach, sounded like it. But it would be much easier if Rosen would have said this in high school and Morris said, you know, I'll pass on this.
I want to see if it works. So yeah,
people are forgetting this. This is all about employment. It is hard to fire people. Awesome. You have to deal with maybe an attorney. What is the fallout? What is the emotional blowback? It's very easy to say, I'll pass. And when you don't have a job, and Rosen in the NFL doesn't have one yet, and Camp doesn't, it's just very easy to say, no thanks. It's hard if you're driving to work knowing somebody's going to get fired and you're the boss. So I don't believe it's hypocritical to say I'm for having strong opinions and for people passing on you because they don't want to get into politics. I like that libertarian style. Let the market play out. Say what you want, do what you want, and understand sometimes it has consequences. Even if you're right on your stand, and even if all your teammates are behind you, those aren't the people hiring. Jim Mora talked more about his quarterback, Josh Rosen.
He's an incredibly intelligent young man that does have opinions, and oftentimes those opinions are conveyed to others because he is trying to bring attention to some that are maybe less fortunate or have less than he does, that at times maybe he feels are taken advantage of. When you express these opinions, you create perceptions, you create controversy. There are those that will agree with you and those that won't agree with you, and you have to be willing to live with the consequences.
Almost wonder what quarterback he's talking about there. Christine with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
Roger Goodell is saying that when he is walking around and he talks to fans, the number one thing that he hears is that the preseason is just no good. And he says that the NFL should do things to make sure that the games in the preseason, or all games really, are played at the highest level possible and highest possible standards. Preseason games are not that. So he's talking about going from 4 games to 3 games and not losing anything. But he did say this is something that would have to be negotiated with the players. It's not something that they would just do, which sounds like he's trying to be fair, but really what he's trying to do, and that brings me to my next story, is that he wants to expand the regular season. So it has to be something that they discuss in the new CBA. Do we want to get rid of some preseason games and then add on to the regular season to go from 16 to 18 games, which probably isn't something the players are going to want to do.
Christine, I've been saying this for years, is that we're going to look back in 50 years and go, they played 4 preseason games? Why would you do that? It's almost like for years and years, I didn't understand why TV networks couldn't do flex scheduling. Like, why do you have to have your whole schedule if by week 10 teams are awful? You know, like NFL fans don't travel a lot to games. And now, like, NBC has their flex scheduling. At Fox, we have some flex scheduling. For years and years, you didn't. And, like, this is one of these things is college 18-year-olds don't have a preseason game. And yet Florida State and Alabama, a bunch of kids with limited practice time will go play, and it'll be a great football game. That pros need 4 practice games. The college kids don't need any. Alabama, Florida State will be a great game in 3 weeks. There'll be 10 guys on the field that are 1 year out of high school playing, and the game will be fun to watch. It'll be well coached. It'll be probably mostly efficient.
But as things are right now, the starters aren't playing really in the preseason.
It's a bad product.
Right. So if you add 2 games onto the regular season, that's more games that the starters are playing. So is that good for the league, though, to have them playing more because that increases the chance of injury?
No. I think, again, if I ran the league, I'd eliminate preseason, and I wouldn't add anything. That
will never happen because then they lose so much money.
You know, that's an interesting question because I believe when you buy season tickets, Goulet, when you buy season tickets, are preseason, is it included?
Yeah, it's included in the price. You pay the same amount for all the games.
So what does it matter?
It's still concessions. It's still broadcast.
There's some money in it, but when the TV rights are $1 kajillion, isn't that like nickels on a dollar?
Yeah, I just think that if Goodell is a businessman, which we know he is, the only way he's going to get rid of some preseason games is if he gets something in return, and that is going to equal regular.
Yeah. I guess my point is this, Christine. I don't get the upside of it, but I get the downside of preseason, which is as fans, we're all crossing our fingers every game that a star doesn't get hurt. So it's like, generally I'll ask the question when it comes to business. Is there an upside? Yes. Okay, I'll take a risk. What is the upside? The optics aren't good. The game's crappy. Stars get hurt.
And season ticket holders, you technically buy 10 games.
That's right.
So you're paying for those games.
I just think, I think it's, and like last night was fun for me to watch the Sean Watson. Maybe you could have one preseason game, but I'm telling you, man, you watch these preseason games, and I think I'm like everybody else. I'm like, oh, God, is that guy going to get up? Is J.J. Watt going to get up? Like, you're just terrified your stars are going to get hurt.
And on that same storyline, finally, Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Julian Edelman, and Brandon Cooks are all not expected, obviously, to play tonight in the Patriots' first preseason game. Not surprising at all.
Yeah.
But it's boring.
It is.
Because it's not even like, I can kind of get to know these guys. Those are not the guys you're going to see out there playing. It's not the same product that you'll see So I don't really get it.
I actually like the summer league, which is a little bit like the NBA preseason because the veterans mostly don't play. And there feels like, maybe it was just the Lonzo Ball thing, but there feels like there's like one player every year in the summer league in the NBA. Like I really want to watch the show with Lonzo Ball last year, Ben Simmons. But even as good as all the rookies are, like I never watch a preseason NFL game and think, oh, I really like Christian McCaffrey last night. I'm sitting there thinking, that's kind of fun. But I know it's vanilla defense. There's no starters on the offensive line playing. So I don't get the preseason. It's just you get all the risk of injury without good optics or good games.
Yep, I agree. That's nice.
Justine with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
I'm going to get to the LeBron James story in 7 minutes. This story there's real division on our staff today. What I think and what they think on the LeBron story. But first, via Cowherd Global Satellite Network in New York. Peter Schrager, a Fox NFL insider, is joining us. Okay, last couple of days I've been doing all this prediction stuff, NFC and AFC. Anything stick out that you disagree with me?
I think you disrespected two teams in the NFC. Two teams went to the playoffs last year. You had the Lions taking a big step back for some reason, going 8-8. When Stafford, the final 4 games, had a messed up middle finger on his throwing hand, they get better, they get healthier. They have Jarrett Davis now, a great new middle linebacker. I think you disrespected the Lions there. And then the Giants bring everybody back on defense, and they add Brandon Marshall. Colin, come on.
I know, but you know my feeling, Shregs, and you know the Giants really well. That's like your home team because I know you're not. Yeah. I know you're not going to Jets games this year. So here's my knock on the Giants. Their offensive line still feels a little unsettled on the left side. It's running back by committee. Eli, I mean, come on now. It's 16 picks in his 14th year. Shepard got hurt, the receiver. There's a little Odell Beckham circus, and I will say this. I like Odell. But when he has big games, they're actually less effective as a team. So he's great, but he doesn't translate like a Gronk to wins. I think this is a football team that's going to be in a bunch of 17-14 games praying Odell Beckham breaks a slant.
I think they go big. I think their offense is awesome. I think Marshall and Beckham are going to be a great comment to each other. Look, I saw you have the Eagles win division. I like that. It's fun. It's bold. The Cowboys 10-6, but they can't all win the division. I would just say Evan Ingram, first-round pick, the tight end for the Giants. I don't know if he plays fantasy football, but I talked to all my Giants sources. This guy is a beast right now. And I would just say the Giants, you might have disrespected them going 8-8. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, Deshaun Watson last night. I didn't care about the numbers. He looked. I got a little dack.
I don't think we know.
He didn't look terrified. He looked big. And I know it's preseason, but I don't know, Shregs. I looked at him and I thought that looks like an NFL quarterback to me.
Colin, I love it because you and I are on the same page here. And I go back to recent memory. I remember doing a Seattle training camp, and Matt Flynn's the quarterback, and there's this 3rd-round pick who's just making play after play. And everyone's telling me it's training camp, it's preseason. It was Russell Wilson. He won the job. It was great. And last year, Dak Prescott, they played the Rams in that preseason game. He's turning heads. He looks amazing. He's hitting Des Bryant. And everyone's telling me, calm down. It's just the preseason. He's a 4th-round pick. Let's see what he does. And he was awesome. He was the offensive rookie of the year and won 13 games last season. I'm not putting Deshaun Watson in that caliber yet. He's got to do a little bit more. But last night, if it's Tom Savage, who everyone suddenly is treating like he's Joe Montana, or Deshaun Watson, I'll roll the dice with Deshaun Watson. He got a great defense. That rookie looked good last night.
Le'Veon Bell for the Steelers, as good a running back as this league has, is holding out. He is a crucial part of this offense. What's the latest?
Weird deal here, Colin, because he's got offered the franchise tag, and because of the rules, they can't give him a new long-term deal this entire season, no matter what. So he's holding out. He's set to make $12 million. But is he holding out for what? No one knows. And yesterday, Kevin Colbert, who is usually very soft-spoken, it's a GM of the Steelers. You never hear anything out of the Steelers brass. He basically was like, yeah, it's time to come. Like, I don't know what you're holding out for. You can't just miss the season. It doesn't make sense. They can't negotiate till the end of the season. So those players internally, a lot of them are scratching their heads saying, if we can't pay you now anyway, and $12 million for one season the deal, you might as well get to training camp. You might as well be in good shape, and you might as well be ready for week 1 because they got the Browns coming week 1, and you don't want to start the season losing to Cleveland because your running back's not in the backfield.
All right, what's your biggest, boldest prediction for this year with a young player?
Yeah, so I'm all in on this Cooper Kupp. I don't know if you had a chance to go to Rams camp yet, but Cooper Kupp has the triple crown. He got the all-time leading FBS and catches, receptions, and receiving touchdowns. And I know my guys with the LA Rams, and they're all saying the same thing. He's unbelievable. And him and Goff have an amazing chemistry. A 3rd-round pick at wide receiver Cooper Kupp out of Eastern Washington. I know you love the state of Washington,
Yeah!
Colin. This guy is the real deal, and everyone is saying Goff isn't necessarily lighting it up in practice, but he and Kupp are on the same page, and he's a 24-year-old rookie. So the maturity is all there. Cooper Kupp. I don't know if the Rams win 5 games, 7 games, or 9 games, but I know Cooper Kupp is going to be a huge part of that offense this year.
Okay, Patrick Mahomes at Chiefs camp. I talked to somebody last night in the NFL, said the kid's talent is absurd. Alex Smith eroded last year. Andy Reid loves quarterbacks. What's the latest?
I came on your show last week from Canton, and I told you that all the buzz out of Kansas City is, oh my God, he's really, really good. Like, what do we do? Now, I'm excited to see him in the preseason against the Niners. They play them week 1. See what he can do and see how he plays. But all the gossip is that everyone said from the start, it's Alex Smith's job. He's in a red shirt. It's no problem. You don't trade up in the draft and trade next year's first-round pick with a veteran team if you don't think this guy is worth playing right away. So let's just see how the Mahomes train goes. And Alex Smith knows it better than anybody. He went down. Kaepernick came in. He never got the job back in San Francisco. If I'm Alex Smith, I'm staying healthy and I'm not making any mistakes.
Okay, I have to ask an Andrew Luck question. And so, I mean, there's Cam's not throwing and Luck's not throwing, but for some reason, the Luck situation feels scarier to me than Cam not throwing. Can you give us Chris Ballard's the new GM now, Schrags? There's no pressure for him to win this year. He is rebuilding the Grigson situation. So he could sit Luck. So Cam and Luck aren't throwing. Luck feels worse to me. What's the latest?
I think Cam is going to play week 1 on Fox in San Francisco. I'm pretty sure about that. The Colts week 1, they play the Rams. I can't give you 100% that Andrew Luck will be under center. It might be Scott Tolzien. No one is saying anything as far as how his throws look. He was working with a tennis ball earlier this summer and hadn't even been throwing a football. So there is a little concern, but everyone I talk to in Indianapolis says, don't worry, it's all good. He just isn't gunslinging yet. Well, the clock is ticking. Let's see if he can get there by week 1.
By the way, big brawl yesterday, Rams-Chargers. Did you see that?
Yes, fun. And this is like a cool story for you guys that the Rams and Chargers, you'd think that, all right, LA football. No, these teams don't like each other. And it's not just the players. Like, there were some issues with the ownership as far as Kroenke built this beautiful stadium and the Chargers said, okay, well, we're going to rent it for 8 games. And that Kobe situation, this is a weird deal, but the Rams have been there. The Chargers come in, they get Kobe Bryant to show up, and that rubbed people the wrong way. Like, all right, slow down, Chargers.
Look at that fight.
We're here first. It was a real fight yesterday, and this goes from the top of the organizations to the bottom. And one last thing. Everyone made a big deal. Everyone made a big deal about Phillip Rivers not going to LaDainian Tomlinson's Hall of Fame speech last Saturday night. Yeah, they were opening up the StubHub Center with a joint practice. The last thing the Chargers wanted to do was to have a joint practice with the Rams and not have their star quarterback, and it be packed with Rams fans. It's a cool little story in the NFL, almost like a battle, like a turf war of sorts out there in LA. I'm not sure who's going to win it, but Rams and Chargers, no love lost between those two franchises.
Wow, look at these fights. Okay, look at it. Now watch this, folks.
This is good. This is what I bring, Colin. I bring fights. That's what I bring.
Oh, look at that. Oh, my. This is ugly. Peter Schrager. Great stuff in New York. Thanks, bud.
Love it, Colin. Thank you for having me on.
You bet. That fight, I hadn't seen that fight video yet. That's a lot more action than Mayweather and Conor McGregor's going to give.
How was that? Good, right?
Yeah, that was great. All right. Way to go, Schrags. So there is this story. I don't even know. It's a LeBron story. Like, I have this rule about Twitter. Like, the more seriously you take Twitter, the less seriously I can take you. So I'm going to tell you a story, and I'm going to have it coming up next, where I think LeBron was just replying to a tweet, but everybody on my staff thinks LeBron knew exactly what he was doing. That story is coming up next. Whether you're headed to grandma's house, the beach, loading up the family car for a getaway, driving season's in full swing. And with you in that car comes the fear something could break down and ruin your roadie, ruin your camping trip, ruin your family vacation. Get extended service protection with Car Shield, 24/7 roadside assistance, rental car if you have a disaster. You don't want an $800 sensor bill, a $1,200 transmission bill. Get extended service protection once your warranty runs out. You can call 800-CAR-6100, mention HERD. That's 800-CAR-6100, mention HERD. Or just go to carshield.com, code HERD. Roadside assistance around the clock, rental car. They reimburse your mechanic directly. It's no check in the mail stuff. carshield.com, code HERD.
Switch to AT&T Prepaid and get 2 months of free service with no annual contract on AT&T's network. 2 months free, huh? You know, my wife wanted 2 months free. Then she jetted off to the Canary Islands and met some tennis pro named Sergio.
Kevin?
She doesn't even like canaries.
You want to stick to the script, please?
Right. Sorry, Dan.
It's done.
Done. With AT&T Prepaid, you can watch all of your favorite shows with no annual contract. Wow. No annual contract? No commitment at all? Remind you of anyone, Don?
Maybe your wife?
Bingo.
Can we wrap this up, Kevin?
Sorry, Doug. That's prepaid your way from AT&T.
Great. Thank you.
Sure beats whatever Sergio's offering.
Okay, that's it. I'm cutting the legal.
Limited time offer. Requires payment at activation. Taxes extra. Account must remain active on $45 or $65 plan and cannot lapse to get bill credit for 3rd and 12 months. Fees covered and other restrictions apply. Details at att.com/prepaid.
Okay, here we go, people.
This is The Herd.
Where are you again?
With Colin Cowherd.
By the way, they're reducing the number of back-to-back games, single-game road trips over 2,000 miles, increasing weekend games. It's the NBA's plan to eliminate stars missing games. Let's just call it what it is. The LeBron rule. By the way, Tom Brady got his knee hurt. They changed how quarterbacks could get hit. That was called the Brady rule. All-star catcher Buster Posey broke his leg getting run over at the plate. Now you mostly can't run over a catcher at the plate. What's it called in baseball? The Buster Posey rule. You do realize Augusta, Tiger proofed their course because this is what happens. We either protect our superstars or change the rules due to them.
This is The Herd.
That guy's a nerd.
With Colin Cowherd.
What? Hi, I'm Tim McGraw. Every 2 seconds, someone in America needs blood. Accident victims, cancer patients, and individuals with blood disorders and other illnesses. They may live next door or up the block or across town. They're our neighbors. Yet only a small percentage of those who are eligible to give donate blood. A healthy blood supply comes from ordinary people, just like you and me. It's all about neighbors helping neighbors. Your gift of blood is needed now to help save lives. That's why I'm joining with my good neighbors at State Farm and the American Red Cross in the Neighbors Give Life campaign to raise awareness and to challenge you to donate blood. It only takes an hour of your time and can save the lives of up to 3 people. You can donate as many as 6 times a year, so make an appointment to donate at your local blood center and donate often. And won't you join me now in giving the gift of life? Be a hometown hero. Visit NeighborsGiveLife.com for more information about donating blood.
Shriners believe that every child deserves a chance to realize their full potential. A tragic gasoline explosion left young Dan Carroll covered with burns and with a slim chance of survival. That is, until a local Shriner heard about the accident.
Almost immediately, magic started happening.
Dan was airlifted to a Shriners hospital.
The doctor said, I know you're expecting the worst, but this is Shriners Hospital, and we're the finest burn center in the world.
Without the Shriners, I wouldn't be here right now. Like, seriously.
Shriners Hospitals offer some of the world's finest orthopedic and burn medical care to kids, totally free of charge. And there's a Shriners Hospital helping kids from this area. Today, Dan is a professional jazz drummer with a bright future.
I can do whatever I want to do. There's no limitations, and they help you learn that.
If you know a child that the Shriners could help, call 1-800-237-5055. Shriners, giving help and hope to kids for over 80 years.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM's news now.
Chattanooga cops say they found a bullet-riddled body on Lightfoot Mill Road. They say it belonged to Deontay James, who they claim is a validated gang member. The Violent Crimes Bureau now trying to find out if the shooting was gang-related or not. A grisly discovery behind the former rave theater. A 21-year-old woman was found hanged to death in an apparent suicide. Family members say that the unnamed woman was suicidal after a breakup with her husband. The Chattanooga Police Department has confirmed that an officer was arrested on DUI charges, apparently blowing an 0.144 blood alcohol level in a breathalyzer test. He's been put on paid administrative leave. Michael Allen Trumbo, who's 28. In Walker County, the debt situation is so bad that the deficit is $7.5 million. County Commissioner Shannon Whitfield is holding special meetings to talk to the public about the problem. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News, now.
In-depth traffic, news, and information. Mornings on Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
Not as wet out there for your afternoon, with showers and thunder showers becoming more isolated. Still lots of clouds, highs lower 80s tonight. Mostly cloudy, some late fog, lows 70 to 72. For Friday and Saturday, a few widely scattered, mainly afternoon showers and storms, highs 85 to 87. Check out Lowe's and get an extra 5% off every day with your Lowe's Advantage card. Subject to credit approval and can't be combined with any other credit offers. Exclusions apply. See store for details. And I'm Source Gene 12 Chief Meteorologist Patrick Hoare. On Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM.
You've been in a wreck.
756-6400.
You've been wrongfully fired.
756-6400.
A turkey is suing you out of the blue.
756-6400.
Confused about a business startup?
756-6400.
That's the number for you. 756-6400. Right here, right now, Chattanooga. Call now. Top flight legal help awaits. Get biz advice now. Representation to fight for your right. What are you waiting for? That's 756-6400. Don't sit on your rights. You've got remedies. Turn your tragedy into cash. You've got the solution from estate planning all the way to probate. Act now. Top attorneys in Chattanooga are waiting to help you get relief. Act now. No out of pocket. You don't pay a dime until we win. So win with us.
756-6400.
Call now. Top flight legal help awaits. What are you waiting for? That's 756-6400. Turn your tragedy into cash. Act now. No out of pocket. You don't pay a dime until we win. So win with us.
756-6400.
756-6400.
Essential oils are an overlooked benefit. They're a remedy for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and sleep problems. Aches and pains? Let me help you live a better life. Hi, Loretta Lynn here. It's a free consult. Call me today. Look, I'll even give you a free bottle of essential oil. 423-605-4719. Loretta Lynn's Essential Oils. They've been around for thousands of years. They can even be an alternative to pesticides in your garden. Call today. That's 423-605-4719 and take control of your health.
He stole out so much cash, such a huge mountain of cash, that he's become a national star. Rick Davis. You know the story. Cash, 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 and more cash. People can't believe it. They want to see it. And now Rick Davis has a new TV show. National TV, USA and Canada. He's got the gold and silver, diamonds and rings. You get dizzy just thinking about it. Rick's selling. Rick's buying. Cash, cash, cash. We interrupt this commercial to bring you an important announcement. Rick Davis National TV Show, reaching over 80 million people nationally and internationally. Check your local listing for airtimes. Rick Davis hasn't gone Hollywood. He's gone Chattanoogan. And Hollywood loves it. And so will you. Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds debut show. See Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds Brainerd Road now. He's got the gold and silver, diamonds and rings. You get dizzy just thinking about it. Rick's selling. Rick's buying. The autographs are free.
Hi, I'm David Crockett, and I'm here with David Tulis, and we're having a little discussion over who's the number one Nooga centrist. If you want to keep up with free market ideas, then read Nooganomics.com. David Tulis, the blogger with the biggest pen.
The Tennessee Valley's news, talk, and sports leader. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM. Nooga Radio, AM 1240 and 92.7 FM knows your opinion is important. So call 800-8949. Agree or disagree. Call 423-800-8949. 800-8949. Nooga Radio, AM 1240, 92.7 FM, and 95.3 HD4. News, talk, sports. Nooga Radio.
You've heard people say, like rich people say, oh, I summer in the Hamptons. I summer in France. LeBron summers in L.A.
What?
He does summer in L.A.
You're not reading into this?
He summers in L.A. He's here. In fact, you would see him more because you're out among the cool people. I'm not. I live down at the beach. You live among the glitterati K-sizzle. So you live among the cool people. So you're going to all these restaurants that are cool. You know where I'm at? Taco Bell. That's what I'm doing with my night teen kids.
Okay.
So I don't see LeBron. I've had 3 people on our staff this summer say, "Oh, I saw LeBron at the bagel place. I saw LeBron here." LeBron's everywhere in LA.
Here's the thing. Many, many, many NBA players summer in LA. They don't call it home.
Well, in the summer, it is his home.
Nah, it's his home.
He owns a house.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant rents a house.
Exactly. That's why it's his home. And here's the thing. He didn't have to respond the way that he did. He could have just said, "Oh, yeah, I'll make a trip there." But the fact that he went the extra mile and said, "Yes, I'll have to make a day trip when I'm home in LA." He is literally the king of subtweeting. So I don't think that he just casually put this tweet out. He knew what he was doing.
You don't think that people say, "I summer in the Hamptons, I summer in Paris"?
I do.
You don't think
they don't say, "My home is Paris"?
If you live in Texas, where it's really hot in the summer, there are people like Mark Cuban who summer in LA. They just get out of the Texas heat. And if Mark Cuban said to one of his rich friends, "Hey, dude, meet me at home," in the summer, his buddy would say, "Well, which home?" Because Mark Cuban lives in Dallas, but he summers in LA.
No, doesn't make any sense.
That's
a real reach.
Nobody buys this.
He's not saying, "Oh, I'll have to come make a day trip while I'm summering in LA." That's not what he said. He said home in LA, which he didn't even need to say in the first place.
You really think so? Now in America, if you're famous, even your reply.
Look, if he takes it seriously, his Twitter, I'm going to take it seriously. And he does, because he often uses his Twitter and his Instagram to send out subliminal messages.
So you think he's basically taking a shot at Dan Gilbert, saying, "Listen, this is my new home"?
I think he's trying to stir stuff up. Or maybe he's trying to send a message to Dan Gilbert. I don't know. But he's definitely saying that LA is his home. I mean, come on. That's like the biggest thing when you think LeBron is, "I'm coming home," him leaving Cleveland. You think he would just casually put something like that out there without thinking about it?
I don't think, first of all,
the word home probably sends off like light bulbs and jingle bells in his head.
I'm coming home.
You can't be LeBron James and not think that home means something.
I'm sorry. Maybe I'm being naive.
You are.
But people can't reply to. By the way, I don't reply a lot to people because
do you think they don't have each other's cell phone numbers? The only reason that Jamal was tweeting him is because he probably wanted people to pay attention to the league that he has and maybe LeBron coming. LeBron could have texted him back.
Let me ask you this. When you tweet, no, because we always know when we tweet, it's being watched. When you reply, are you thinking about how it lands?
Of course.
I never do.
That's the problem.
Well, but when I reply to people, I'm like, I don't get in arguments. I'm like, "Hey, thanks for the support. Cool, bud." I never think, "Ooh, it'll get read." It's a reply.
Yeah, because you're saying thank you or you're giving a fist pound or something.
Yeah.
LeBron said he was going to be home in LA. That's a big deal. And if you're LeBron, you know that everything you do is scrutinized.
You know how much LeBron's house cost?
Millions and millions and millions.
$20 million.
Yeah, why are you going to buy a $20 million home if you don't think that's your home?
Well, the one in Akron's worth $40 million, and that one's supposed to be like unbelievable.
And especially in Akron, I would imagine you get a lot of real estate for that.
I mean, good luck reselling that thing on the market. Okay, well, we agree to disagree. We should have some sort of really bad radio poll. I think it's innocuous. I think it's harmless. I think it's a reply to a friend. I think the reason he didn't text is because he was having if you're sitting on your phone and you're, talking to somebody.
That's like saying, let's take LeBron out of the picture, but that's like saying if one of those chicks writes to an NBA player like, "Hey, I'm going to be at this place, come meet me," and then the player just, because he's casually replying, "Okay, I'll be there." Like, that doesn't happen. You have to think about what's going out on the internet and that people are going to see it.
That's your best
LeBron
point.
Wasn't just casually
that was your best point by far, but you saved it to the end of the argument, so it doesn't count.
But if it was a mistake, let's say he replied and realized like, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that," deleting it is more of a story. If he deleted a tweet where he called LA his home, he would get crushed. So maybe he just messed up.
People aren't perfect on Twitter.
No, he knew what he was doing. LeBron is literally the king of subtweeting. He knew what he was doing.
All right, good stuff today. We're all fired up. By the way, don't miss Get Shorty. It's the new Epix original series everybody's talking about. Ray Romano's in it. Premieres this Sunday, August 13th, 10/9 Central, only on Epix, EPIX, because in Hollywood, you're only as good as your next hit. So I'm going to lay out my NFL, AFC, and NFC playoff order, the teams that are in, the teams that are out, and I will lay that out. Mark Schlereth will stop by as well. It's actually a fun time. Tomorrow I'm off. I'm taking a couple more Fridays off. But it's very fun last night. I came home and I turned on Carolina. Christian McCaffrey was fun to watch. Running back, and I think he's going to be a nice compliment to Cam Newton. As you were saying on Speak for Yourself yesterday, I'm